Hello and welcome to an introduction to cryptocurrency, a primer on everything you need to know to get started. This is a continuation of our webinar series, and today we are on module 4, level 2, which is intermediate, that will help us to continue with our learning of crypto and how we are able to apply these concepts and ideas. So far, we've covered 4 foundational modules, and this is the second set, which forms the intermediate. Now, as you can see the structure there, the foundational level completed. We are currently on the intermediate level, and I would like to encourage each one of you to continue attending the sessions or at least review the recordings as we go along. Here's a quote that you may be familiar with, as I've talked about this as just a fundamental point of departure, to say that if you don't have a crypto strategy, then you hate yourself and you don't believe in your own future. Now, about me, I'm not an expert. At least I look like one, but I cannot claim to be an expert, but I'm somebody who's still learning and very passionate about this topic. I studied it, yes, and that was Bitcoin, but obviously we all have to learn, and I think that's really why we're having this platform. And I think the biggest motivation I have is because of missed opportunities in the past. And that's why I don't want that to happen again. And I'm sharing everything that I know with my community. And I hope that you'll do the same as well. Now, this is an interesting definition of Bitcoin that I overheard my daughter mention. And I thought it would be very interesting to share with you. That Bitcoin is when you get a hammer and then beat it or hit a rock until money comes out. That is Bitcoin. That's just the 5-year-old view of the world. She's been, listening into our sessions. And I was fascinated by the fact that she picked up that we are talking about Bitcoin. And she has, of course, again, this very unique take as here captioned. We continue. So this past week has been interesting. In that Bitcoin, hit 60,000 and then retraced back. It's actually on its way back to hopefully smash again 60,000 and maybe going beyond that. But what was very topical was my neighbor Alice. No, I'm not talking about my next door neighbor. This is actually a coin. It's a multiplayer. It's a coin that is sitting on top of a multiplayer game that is called My Neighbor Alice, that gained notoriety this past week. By when it was listed on Binance Exchange, the price rocketed from $0.1 a coin to apparently 60, so which is about 60,000% gain. And then it has obviously retraced. I think it's about 20 or slightly less than that. So I just thought to mention this. So our usual, this series is about giving an overview, and we're talking about opportunities here. And our lens is that which is vendor agnostic. Across the whole ecosystem. And we endeavor to give both a theoretical and a practical point of view. And as well as we go along, we seek to develop resources and references that would help you in your journey. So again, this should not be construed as financial advice. Neither are we, schooling you. So it's not an academic exercise necessarily. Now, in this module, we're going to look at a very important facet of cryptocurrency called stable coins and what that really means. We'll also look at different types of stable coins, and then we'll just, hopefully get to speak a little bit around our initiative, our crypto community initiative. So far in our tool set, we have the crypto index, a top 5. So we make this available to our community who are available on Telegram on a weekly basis. And I'll share about that at the end. And then we have the coin evaluation framework, which we've covered. And also the crypto strategy template, which we covered at the end of the first 4 modules, which gives really the foundation for everything else that we're talking about. So if you are not familiar with any of this, please reach out. And, if you have the videos, please revisit those concepts because we will build on each one of them in each of the stages as we go along. Now, how to benefit the most? Absolutely engage, attend all these sessions. I recommend all of them. And follow all of them. And I think importantly, just engage, share your ideas, give input, and then do your own research, your DIY or R, And again, we obviously would wish that you share back to community, and perhaps above all, apply the ideas. Action is everything, and it will be rewarded handsomely. So this was a question that I wanted to pose to each one of us, the question of volatility. How do you manage, or how is volatility managed in the crypto world? So as I attempt, and indeed in this session, speak to this question, because this question frames what our discussion will be for the next couple of minutes, I just wanted to say this, that all crypto is not created equal. Some crypto is more equal than others. We all know about Bitcoin, we all know about Ethereum. But do you know there are 8,000 other coins that are listed in the CoinMarketCap.com website? So most of those we don't know. Now we're going to speak specifically in answer to this question about stable coins. But even before that, I just wanted to give an overview. This is a slide that we had, I think, in our second webinar, which just talks about the categorization. So you have there, king is Bitcoin. And then, of course, it's the cryptocurrencies. It's the foremost of cryptocurrencies. And then you can see cryptocurrencies, divided largely, or seen the others which are not Bitcoin as altcoins. And you can see them as either tokens, which could be utility tokens, or what we're going to talk about right now, which is stable coins. So we're going to talk about stable coins and why you should care about them and their importance in the ecosystem. So I've given a summary view there in the picture, which says crypto plus fiat support equals to stable coins. And I'll explain what that really means. Now, crypto is a new innovation that came to us with Bitcoin. And with it came, a fully digitalized asset class, or a currency, if you will. And what does that mean? An innovation that came with a lot of benefits, among them which we've covered, the benefits of cryptocurrency, security, decentralization, borderlessness, all these other things. But if you look at fiat currencies, or the currencies that we have in our world today, they don't have those benefits. So stable coins seeks to bridge the gap between that world of fiat, which is the traditional world, and the new world of digital, So, and the biggest value add is it takes advantage, obviously, of the innovations. It brings in new players who are averse to the fluctuations and the volatility that you'd have in all the other currencies, the other utility coins, the likes of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and so stable coins are a subset of of the cryptocurrencies that we have today in existence. And what this has meant is that it has actually really spawned a lot of new innovations, like DeFi, or decentralized finance, and smart digital finance, which we'll speak about next week. And this has also enabled individuals to come on board, institutions and governments, which is very interesting, especially the last one, because governments are very averse to risk. They're very traditional. And this is almost like a bridge that has helped them to come on board. Now, let's look at different types of coins. So I think in really, broad strokes, there are two categories. There's non-collateralized and there's collateralized. And if you look at collateralized, then you split it into two, real world collateralized, in this case, either backed by fiat currency. We talk about the main currencies in our world, the US dollar, the euro, the pound, the yen, and all these other flavors that are there. And you have commodity also backed, whether that's gold or silver or any of the other commodities that we know. And that's collateral. So that's just part of the collateralized. And then crypto collateral would be backed by crypto in this case. So it could be Ethereum or Bitcoin or any of the other major cryptos, backing up this particular coin. And the key thing here is that there's a certain ratio that is maintained so that stable coin is stable. It doesn't really fluctuate. Whereas the other crypto, which is volatile, would move and up and down, but the stable coin remains the same. The non-collateralized is simply, in other words, what is known as algorithmic, which means it's not backed up by anything, but it's actually backed and supported by code. There are rules, and it controls, demand and supply to make sure that, again, the price remains as stable as possible, and it's not as volatile as the rest of the crypto is. So it will regulate, how much coins are there. If it is too much and the price, then it will actually make sure it reduces that using code. Now, again, the correlation, and as you can see there in the middle, it's stable coins are about really bridging that volatility chasm that is there. So you have fiat on one side, and then you have the volatile crypto assets, on the other, and then stable coins bridges that gap. Now, what does that really mean? In our world, again, I mentioned that this has allowed players to come on board who are averse to risk, or averse to maybe not just say risk, averse to volatility. This could be individuals, retail investors, institutions, as well as governments. And you'll notice that, when you talk about, JP Morgan, institutions, they're coming on board, and, they're very excited and say, yeah, we're going to coming up with JP coin or whatever, which is a stable coin. Facebook, coming up with Libra, or whatever the name they've called it now, because they've posed that project. So it's a stable coin. That's not really a volatile crypto. And if you look at the idea of Libra, it was actually backed by a basket of currencies. That was the idea they had, by the euro, the dollar, the yen, the whole basket of currencies. And then it would obviously be used as a platform or a medium of exchange. So this is just some of the use cases: a medium of exchange, unit of account, lending, and then it allows really the development of other products, like the innovations that you'd have, on top, using this coin now as a medium of exchange, or as a unit of account, even for ecosystems. For example, Ethereum is really, really big on this thing called dApps, or DApp, decentralized apps, and that being, something that can really enable and power such an ecosystem. So again, these are some of the use cases that I think you should be aware of. And, a scenario use case, if you think of it, the way we would move fiat currency, where I'll go to the bank and withdraw it, maybe physically, and have it in my hands, and then it will move really within that ecosystem. It will move. I'll buy something from somebody. I'll exchange my fiat with them. So the idea of stable coins is really meant to work very similar to fiat in the real world, where there's no variation and fluctuation. So I can go and maybe $1 equivalent would be something that I go to the shop, or I would exchange for a good or a service with somebody else. So that's why you can see in this diagram, that is what it's attempting to speak to, as you can see it. So obviously there will be the issuer, and then that issuer, there will be some kind of KYC that will be done against the person who holds account. And then the in-betweens, between one person, peer-to-peer, because that's really the whole idea and the benefit here that is available through crypto. It can move peer-to-peer from one person to another without necessarily the need for a KYC to be done on the individuals that come after, beyond the initial one. So this is just, an illustration that I thought would be useful. Now, what are some of the top blockchains that power stablecoins? The largest by far is actually Ethereum, which is the first one. And I think powers probably, I don't know, more than half. And then the rest of it is really split between a bunch of other platforms, among them BitShares, as well as Stellar. So this is just, again, information that is good to know. Now, among the innovations and things, I just thought to quote this one, is really the whole world of lending, in crypto world, very innovative services which are very similar. So you have online equivalents, of decentralized banks. And that's why we're going to speak about decentralized finance, offering interest rates. And they use such, like, for example, the Tether, to lend against, because it obviously provides stability. So you can map it one-to-one to the dollar, and you can borrow against a certain pre-denominated set, and that obviously allows for such kind of innovation. So this is just an example, and this is something you can look at. There are many more that we'll be sharing on our community that you can look at, that will be available for members to explore and see how they can exploit for their benefit. So I'll just quickly toggle to show you in the market some of the cryptos, the stable coins that are there. Let me see. I hope this kind of shows up. So I'm going to use GoInKeiko today. And, so you're going to see that we have quite a number of coins. And, this is just a definition that they have. I like the last one, which is, stable coins are relatively new kind of technology. Really, the main thing here is it's trying to take advantage of your value transfer, using the peer-to-peer innovation. And then again, I think we have a market cap of 60 billion, a trailing volume of 89. And then you can see the different coins that are there, including their capitalization, market capitalization. And then we'll just go slowly. So you can see DAI, Huobi coin, which is HUSD, Binance coin would be BUSD, Tether, which is TUSD, Paxos USD coin, Terra USD. You notice most of these are denominated against the US dollar. But again, the others which denominated or backed by crypto, as well as those which are backed by commodities, which I mentioned, like gold and so on. So you can see here the listing and the ranking. So the top 10 probably might be of interest to explore and to be aware of. So this is, again, it's all about innovation. And I think, it's important for us to know these things because they will help us in our journey as we continue to learn about crypto. And so in this class, we've learned about stable coins and their potential use cases and opportunities. And really, again, this is a concept that will help you in subsequent classes, and we're building concept upon concept. The big thing, that where the benefit of this will be, as I mentioned, is empowering the world of decentralized finance, which we'll cover in our next class. And really see and explain, in fact, for you, how would you benefit? If you go to an exchange, you would actually can be able to use a stable coin, for example, to hedge yourself from the volatility. So if you are taking positions and you are in profit, for example, in Bitcoin, you can actually move that back to your stable coin and just keep that value that you've gained from the markets instead of losing it because of the fluctuation that this thing will have moved down, and maybe you'll have lost the gains that you've gained, that you've gotten through the volatile coins. So that's as far as what this class was about. I'm going to just quickly, again, emphasize some things and really communicate some of the initiatives that we have going on. Among them is, our crypto community, which is on Telegram. I've made this link, and I'll make this link available for us to be able to join. And I highly encourage that this is a platform that you can engage and really get updates beyond our weekly get together on Wednesdays to learn. You get to ask, this is an opportunity for you to be able to ask questions anytime, as you have them, as some of you have been able to do so. So I encourage you, and this is really a very practical way of enabling you to be able to implement your strategy. And just to give a summary of some of the value add and the ideas that we have, we're seeking to provide crypto updates on a regular basis. The crypto index, which I've mentioned, it's a top 5 now that will be shared. And also we're going to pilot a crypto fund where we're going to put in some of our money, and just test out this idea so that we can show it to the community that it's actually working, or how it's working, because again, we can't really tell you, we can't guarantee anything. We'll just experiment and learn from what we're experimenting with. And then lastly, just really see and share any complementary offers and investment opportunities, products and services that would be relevant and add value. So in terms of our vision, I just thought to articulate this because people have been asking, or have been curious, that our intention here is to really make crypto accessible for everyday people across Africa through education and supporting products and services. And this is just a quick, outline of our intended roadmap of how we intend to bring this value on a weekly basis, across the days, to make sure the index is available on a regular basis. You can actually always look forward for it. The Wednesday sessions are now regular at 6 o'clock South African time. And, on Thursdays, to see if we can be able to share, additional information on how we are doing on some of those experiments that we've mentioned. So I think that's really it. And thank you again. And as I mentioned, we look forward to a very exciting session, module 007 next week. And we'll cover decentralized finance and what benefit it will have for you. So this is just a template of the crypto index, a top 5 with just almost like 3 line items that give you a quick glance of why you should invest in a certain coin, and it will actually make it easier for you as you go down to the coin market cap to narrow down on really what coins you can be able to invest in at any point in time. So we again are grateful for our sponsors who have made this possible, that we can make this available to you at no extra cost. And again, let's keep engaging and look forward to connecting with you in our sessions every Wednesday at 6 o'clock, or in the next video that will be recorded and shared with you. Thank you again for your time and wishing you a great time. Until next time.